What's up guys, it's Jay Clark here with Jay Clark Films, and I'm gonna take you guys through a breakdown of how we did a video project for the Menil Collection here in Houston. So one of the first things we like to do is always show up at least an hour early for setup. That allows us time to load in equipment and just kind of get everything we need into the door. This time was particularly interesting because Frank ripped his pants while he was trying to unload. So unfortunately, Frank had to leave to go switch pants. I told him to go to the Goodwill down the street, but he wanted to go home and change. So while that was going on, me, Jordan, and Jeremy loaded it in and we started getting set up. So this project is for artist Tacita Dean. This project was particularly interesting because it was a lot of big pieces and they wanted to interview the artist and they also wanted to interview the curator and make it into one video. So what we did was we decided to start off interviewing the artist. Whenever we try to figure out where to shoot, typically I like to try to find a space that highlights a piece of work that may be like the hero image or one of the main pieces part of the exhibition. I'm always looking for symmetry as well. So I connected with Sarah, who works at the Menil, and we kind of decided on basically how we want them seated and how we want the frame to look. When it came to lighting, I really want to try to do the book light effect. I haven't done it in a while, but it's a really nice effect that creates really good soft lighting on your subject. In this case, we used a V-flat, and then that V-flat went through a 6x6 muslin fabric. Typically, I like to do 2 camera angles whenever I'm doing interviews. Sometimes the B-cam is just for backup. Sometimes it's just good to use whenever you're trying to cut between audio and sound bites. This time, we decided to put on a slider, and that kind of creates just some nice, cool movement to kind of keep the image a little interesting, so it's just not so static. It's good to have different people to fill different roles whenever we're doing a bigger production like this, because you can't focus on loading all the equipment, making sure audio's right, making sure your A-cam positioning's right, and at the same time, make sure you get all the pieces you need to tell the story. And for this book light setup, it was kind of experimental. I'll just do things that I see that other cinematographers do that I really like their work. And I'm like, how did they do that? So I'll just kind of like experiment with lighting here and there. End of the day, I understand what lighting does and how to shape it. But some of these techniques, we just kind of put it together and we see how it looks. And if we need to either add to it or build, we'll do that. Like for instance, for this shoot, we just started with just the key light and we waited to add the negative fill. It created some nice soft light, but that room, as you can see, it's so big and it's so much natural light that the other side of the face was kind of being washed out. And I wanted to create some shadows. We decided to put a black floppy and just have it right on the side of the face. So that way you get some dimensions whenever we color graded and we color corrected. When it came to this particular project, I didn't know too much about the artist, but I was told, she's kind of well known in the art community. A lot of her work in these big rooms were like all made of chalk, which was really interesting. So it's really cool to see like how they created these big pieces. On this particular project, I actually didn't have to do the interviews. Even though I'm not actually asking the questions, I'm active listening to figure out how the edit's gonna be pieced together. If they're saying something that may not make sense, or let's say they don't complete a sentence, I'm like, okay, no, that's not gonna make sense in the edit, or that's gonna be hard to cut. And I may ask them to repeat something, or ask them to put the question and the answer to give more context. But whenever we do these interviews, I really try to help our subjects structure their sentences and their phrases in a way that makes sense that we can use to tell a story. So after we wrapped up the interview, we started to transition to the next part, which was interviewing the curator, Michelle. So with Michelle, what we want to do is put her in a different room so that way it's not like the same background. Also for Michelle, we had a teleprompter. By the way, I got this really cool teleprompter from iCan. If you guys want to check it out, just check it somewhere in the description. That thing has helped me out a lot. It makes shooting a lot easier, especially if you have scripts. It just goes by so smooth. You can just edit it on an app, have it roll. You can change the speed, the text, the size of it. Basically, all they have to do is read. With Michelle, I want to do a much different lighting approach, right? I didn't want to have one side lighting, which there's nothing wrong with that. I just wanted to have more direct lighting for this. So what I did was we put the 300X on an arm. We had it come over right on top of the camera with the grid, and we had 2 negative fills on the side. So since we have the light coming straight, I feel like if we didn't have the negative fill, it would kind of like make everything kind of wash out. So the negative fill, they come in, they bring some shadows, and they also kind of give more structure to the person's face. Next time, maybe I could have used a little more negative fill on both sides, or maybe brought it in closer. But I think for trying it out for the first time, it came out pretty good, and I was happy with it. And that was pretty much the shoot for the day. That was a wrap, and we got what we needed. We were supposed to do B-roll that day, but we kind of ran behind schedule, so I actually went back the next day to get some B-roll shots just with my Ronin and my tripod. It's great to be able to work for museums and be able to work on these type of projects, right? Because we get to disperse our creativity. We always get to strengthen our creative muscles and really just have fun. We always have fun when we're on set. We joke, we laugh a lot, but at the same time, we understand we're here for a purpose. So we had a great time, and thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna try to be uploading a lot more to my YouTube channel, be more consistent. We've been getting a lot of work lately, and I'm just thinking, man, it could be people out there who can take some of this and learn something. Even if you're in the Houston area, feel free to reach out to me. I'm not hard to find on Instagram or wherever. If you ever want to collaborate on something, or if you have any unique skill set when it comes to video production and filming that you want to help out on, hey, we're open to collaboration. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it.